Hello, and welcome to Loose Threads, a true crime podcast that goes behind the scenes of some of the most fascinating and frustrating missing persons cases in America, and the unusual and driven people who insert themselves into these mysteries. Why do people insert themselves into criminal cases, and what consequences have they and others suffered as a result? Does it ever really help? As someone who has been there and done that, I may be uniquely qualified to explore these topics. So join me as we investigate the many twists and turns of public advocacy in American justice. The information we're about to discuss comes from public news reports and statements from private investigators, and also from interviews and conversations with Jessica Mitchell's Aunt Lynne and other family members and acquaintances. Aunt Lynne remembers it clearly: the clink of silverware, the smell of food, and baby Deorr's laughter as spaghetti sauce splashed on his face. They were still eating dinner when Vernal arrived that evening of Wednesday, July 8th, 2015. She didn't expect the abrupt departure, Vernal telling Jessica they needed to leave. No explanation, no goodbyes, just the kind of tension that leaves a mark in your memory. That was the last time Aunt Lynne saw baby Deorr. Just 2 days later, Vernal and Jessica would report him as missing. In the days that followed, Lynne's family would reportedly splinter in ways never imagined. And the woman who once thought she was closest to Jessica began to wonder how much she didn't know. Jessica Mitchell was never one to talk much about her relationship with Deorr Kunz until things fell apart. In hindsight, her words hinted at cracks long before the mountain trip. "We were having problems before the trip," she admitted in one message. In another, "I felt like I was being taken for granted." Behind the scenes, others were starting to voice concerns of their own. Private investigator Philip Klein believed Jessica was involved in an extramarital affair prior to Deorr's disappearance. Deorr's daycare owner saw warning signs. Jessica admitted she wouldn't pass a background check due to allegations of child abuse. And Deorr once showed up to daycare absolutely covered in the worst sunburn I've ever seen, reported the daycare owner. She said, "I have always felt like the mother was responsible." Jessica texted her mother on Thursday night that her phone was dying and she forgot her charger. But Klein said they'd bought at least 3 cell phone chargers during that fateful trip to the mountain. Jessica claimed she went into the Stage Stop convenience store with baby Deorr on Friday morning, but according to Klein's investigation, no one remembers seeing either of them there. She told her mother she left the baby with Vernal, yet told others he was with Grandpa Bob. In her written statements, those stories shift again, but the most troubling revelations allegedly came from private conversations. According to a close family member, Jessica told 5 different stories of what happened. In one story, Vernal hit Deorr in the head with a rock, took him down the mountain, and buried him. And, while working as a CNA, Jessica apparently told a patient that baby Deorr was dead. What do you think, Threaders? Would an innocent mom with a missing child tell others that her child was dead, or would she hold out hope until she had proof? Let me know in the comments below. In the weeks after the disappearance, Jessica retreated. According to Aunt Lynne, she began having seizures. She searched on the mountain for 2 weeks, then left abruptly without saying why. When a family member hung a large portrait of Deorr on their wall, Jessica reportedly stopped visiting their home. She cut herself off from reminders and eventually from most of the people who once tried to support her. The family was never the same. Some grieved, some drank, some started talking to journalists and investigators when they were allowed to. For years, members of the immediate family, Jessica, Trina, and Vernal, allegedly pressured or outright blocked other relatives from speaking to the media or engaging with outside investigators. Once Vernal and Jessica were scheduled for a show taping with Dr. Phil, but stood him up. Apparently, no one outside the bubble was welcome. Meanwhile, other investigators kept digging. David Marshburn, a private investigator known for high-profile missing persons cases, brought cadaver dogs to the campsite in June of 2019. A bone was found. While it turned out to be nothing, it reignited interest in the case. What happened next was even more bizarre. In a screenshot of a conversation between Philip Klein and Vernal Kunz's attorney, Alan Browning, Browning stated that Marshburn had a recording of the last person to see Deorr Kunz Jr. alive. Allegedly, after Marshburn explained to Vernal what was on the recording, Vernal stopped looking for his son. There's a loose thread here. We'll tug on it in a future episode. If this is true, it begs a number of questions. If an investigator has potentially identified the person responsible for the child's death, why would a father just walk away? Is this what happened? Who or what is on that tape? What about justice? It doesn't make sense. None of it ever has. And I wonder if we'll ever get to know the whole truth. Next time, we'll walk through the final pieces of this enduring mystery: the written words, the forensic findings, and the timeline that no longer holds together. And the question no one has been able to shake: what happened to Deorr Kunz Jr.? Don't miss the exciting final episode of Season 1. Hit that subscribe button and the little bell. Give us a like and tell us what you think in the comments. Until next time, stay curious.